almost didn't make it. So glad to be here for Tuck In Tuesdays, and it's a good night to be tucked in because it's extremely cold. I want to give a shout out to the Chamber of Beaumont and Chris Partin and all of the leadership Beaumont facilitators and those that are participating. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So tonight we'll be finishing up state capitals. Remember, we were exploring the capital cities of our 50 states, and we had a couple of states tonight that we were looking at. So let me go to my little notes here because I have to keep notes, you know. So it is Happy New Year. First of all, Happy New Year. It is a new year, new chance, new everything. So welcome to Tucked In Tuesdays, the first one of the year. How grand is that? I didn't do New Year's Eve for obvious reasons, but here we are. So tonight we will be focusing on the great states of, let me get my little note there so I don't get off. So my first state that I'll be doing is Kentucky. So let me go to Kentucky in my book because they're in alphabetical order. And we have Kentucky. Yes, Miss Goldberg, you almost didn't see it because I was running late. So finally caught it. So here I am. So Kentucky, the capital of Kentucky is Frankfort. Despite its name, there was no fort in the area when Frankfort was founded. Instead, it took its name from a crossing point of the Kentucky River that was known locally as Frank's Ford. This was later shortened to Frankfort. The city became Kentucky's capital in 1792 after it pledged more resources toward the construction of a state capitol building than any other city. Capital population, 27,000. So those numbers are low compared to what we've been hearing. Now the state population, 4.4 million. Other large cities, Lexington, Louisville, and Bowling Green. The date it entered the Union is June 1st, 1792. State flower is the goldenrod, and the state wild animal is the gray squirrel. And to Kentucky, if you see my little map right here, you see, whoop, it's the opposite. There it is. Kentucky sits right there. You see the red? Right over here. So that's Kentucky. And that's a little flag that I'll show you. I don't think I've ever seen Kentucky's flag. Actually, I haven't. But that's Kentucky. So a couple of places in Kentucky's. Number one, we're going to visit the Floral Clock. Locals never lose track of time. The face of this enormous working clock is 34 feet across and made of flowers. Two, tucked away into a bend in the Kentucky River, this park offers sports fields, miles of trails, and views of the stunning state capitol building, and that is Capitol View Park. The third one, walk through and enjoy work of all art of all sizes scattered throughout the native meadows, and that would be the Josephine Sculpture Park. The fourth one that we'll look at is one of the oldest official executive residences in the U.S. The mansion housed the lieutenant governor from 1956 until 2002, and that is, of course, deemed the old governor's mansion. The next one that we have is number 5, the Rebecca Ruth Candy Tours and Museum. Enjoy a tour of this historic factory and maybe try a sample of their renowned chocolates. Now, let me just tell you, a factory with chocolates, I might just go to Kentucky. Now, number 6, Frankfurt's unusual war memorial takes the shape of a sundial. A shadow touches each soldier's name on the anniversary of their death. Little heart grabber there. That's the Kentucky Vietnam Veterans Memorial. Kentucky, that's, if someone from Kentucky is watching, that was very sentimental. Pretty awesome. Number 7 is the Cove Spring Park. And that is the 240 acres of wetlands, springs, and waterfalls are ideal for all kinds of outdoor activities. The scenic Elkhorn Creek flows, I lost my train, flows under this wooden bridge, one of Kentucky's last remaining covered bridges. And that is number 8, the Switzer Covered Bridge. So it's a functioning covered bridge. So Kentucky has pretty awesome things. So what I've been doing is I have multiple screens up here. So I'm going to, one thing, my going to show you all, you lost me for a second, but I'm back. I'm going to show you all this. Let me share my screen. And here is Kentucky's floral clock. Let me pull that up so you can see that. Oh, that's me. We don't clock made of flowers and is a functioning clock. It's a functioning clock. And there's my cousin. Hello, cousin. Good blessed evening to you as well. And so that's the functioning clock there. Remember, they had the clock, and there's another view of it with water. And then there's another view. So maybe they changed out the flowers ever so often. Pretty cool, Kentucky. The other thing in Kentucky that caught my attention is the Rebecca. Let me type that in. Rebecca Ruth. And I do this so that kids that have phones and everything, they know how to just travel the world right at their fingertips. So in Frankfort, Connecticut, Kentucky, there's the Candy Museum there. And that's the bourbon candy, Rebecca Ruth Candies. And so there's the website. You can go there. You can even buy candy there and just watch this video and just go and buy you some candy later. And one of my favorite families here. Hi, Ava, Ari, and Pop Pop. I'm glad to see you, and Happy New Year to you as well. And the next one that I absolutely have to see is as a former, a veteran, and in the Army, let's look at the Kentucky Veteran Memorial. And let's see. And there it is. Now, remember I said that on the anniversary of each soldier, that clock, the shadow falls on their name. Pretty awesome. So you can visit Frankfort. You can go to those websites and just kind of look. That's pretty awesome. And the last one, because my state is this time, so I'm going to be highlighting. I need the link. I am going to post the link right here. That is my battle buddy, and she was in the Army with me. We did basic training together. So whoop. So let's see. Let me get that link for you. And I'll put it in the chat. There you go, battle. There you go. And then the Switzer, because Dr. George loves her, a good covered bridge. So the Switzer covered bridge. Right. Oh, it is much prettier than I thought it would be. That's pretty awesome. And it's old. I thought it would be like, redone, but it's old. So there it is. It's on that same website. So you can go there and see it. It's the oldest standing bridge. And it says it's 120 feet long, 11 feet wide. Oh, wow. That's pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. All right. The next state, woo, it's Louisiana. Try not to be biased here, but here I am being biased. Born in Louisiana. I don't even have to look at this to tell you the capital is Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Baton Rouge, which means red stick. I know that. Baton is stick and rouge is red. Now, the capital population is 230,000 people. The state population, 4.6 million. The other large cities are New Orleans, Lafayette, and Shreveport. Date entered the Union, April 30th, 1812. And our state flower is the beautiful magnolia. State mammal, the Louisiana black bear. And guess what? I never saw one. Very disappointed, Louisiana. Very disappointed. Not that I want to see one, but I'm just saying. If it's our state, it's our Louisiana, if it's the state mammal, just saying. I kind of want to see the state mammal, not behind cages. But Baton Rouge is a city that incorporates influences from many different cultures, but this is no surprise since its founding 7 different governments have controlled the city. Its flag now pays homage to several of these countries, including the U.S., France, Great Britain, and Spain, as well as to the local Native American nations that once occupied the land. So there we have Louisiana, and it sits right there Whoop, it's opposite right there where the little blue is. Right there. Louisiana. And I lived in Terrebonne Parish. Louisiana is the only state that has parishes. So they don't have counties, they have parishes. So here's the key. Learn firsthand what life was like on a battleship during World War II and other conflicts. So you can visit the USS Kidd. Number two, fire engines, hoses, and other firefighting equipment from a century ago are on display at the Old Bogan Fire Station. Number three, if you want to explore one of Baton Rouge's oldest buildings to imagine the lifestyle and history of the early settlers from France and the West Indies, you need to travel to the Magnolia Mile Plantation. Louisiana is riddled with plantations, lots of plantations, and people go there all the time to visit them. Number four, Louisiana's old state capital. Louisiana's castle on the river with its stunning glass dome was once the seat of Louisiana's government. Now, I'm going to tell you a little secret. I have family in Baton Rouge, and I go there quite often. And I've seen this castle. But I didn't know that it used to be the seat of Louisiana's government at one time. You live and you learn, right? Children's books aren't so bad. Then number five is the Louisiana State University LSU Memorial Tower, and every 15 minutes the chimes ring out from this clock tower, built as a memorial to Louisianians killed in World War I. Didn't know that. What a way to play homage. Number six, hike, run, or bike the trails at this beautiful 100-acre park on the banks of the Comite River. Comite River Park is a beautiful park. Then there's number seven, LSU Rural Life Museum. Travel back in time to experience life in rural Louisiana as you walk through historic homes, barns, and schoolhouses. And number eight, Bluebonnet Swamp Nature Center. And that is over a mile of boardwalks and paths offer visitors a glimpse of varied habitats, spot owls, and more. So I am going to highlight Louisiana right now, and I am going to show you all Louisiana's old state capital. So let's see what it looks like. Oh, it's so pretty inside. So let's show you. Let me get that on my screen. And on my screen right here, that's the building. How grand is that? And I'm just sitting here like, yeah, I don't know what I thought that building was. Probably a church, because it has a kind of looks like a church, with all of this. But that is the building. And it shows you where it's located. And then that's the side of it. That's the old drawing of it. Look at that stained glass and look inside. Oh, I'm about to take a sigh. It's so beautiful. All right. So moving right along to Maine. Let's go up north to Maine, where the capital is Augusta. And in the 1620s, settlers from the colony. I didn't do my little thing. Let me backtrack. I've never been to Kentucky, born and raised in Louisiana. Maine, never been to Maine. Need to travel to Maine. Capital is Augusta. In the 1620s, settlers from the colony in Plymouth, Massachusetts, founded a trading post later called Cushnock on the Kennebec River, where they could trade with nearby Native Americans. In 1797, the settlement was incorporated as a city and renamed Augusta. It is now one of the country's smallest state capitals of population, with a population of 19,000. State population 1.3 million. Is a small state. Other large cities, Portland, Lewiston, and Bangor. State entered the Union March 15, 1820. State flower, the white pine cone, and the state animal is a moose. So here we go. Maine, right at the tippy top. Let's see. Maine, way up here. Talk about the top of the world. So, bang. Number one, visitors tour the state capitol to see historic architecture, Maine battle flags, and much, much more at the Maine State House. Let's travel down number two, get on the highway. We're going to the Holocaust and Human Rights Center of Maine. That's where you can reflect on the lessons of the Holocaust and other genocides and join the fight against prejudice and discrimination. Piques my interest. Number 3 is the Blaine House, the official residence of Maine's governor since 1919. Guests have included actors, visiting politicians, and sports stars. Number 4, from the animals and gemstones of Maine to a working 3-story water-powered mill, Maine's history is an exhibit here, and that's at the Maine State Museum. Number 5, the 6.5-mile trail alongside the Kennebec River is ideal for jogging, walking, cycling, skating, or simply enjoying the outdoors. And that is at the Kennebec River Rail Trail. Number 6, at the Vows Arboretum, wait, Arboretum. I don't, you know what? Dr. George sometimes sees words and I know them, but when I see them in writing, I'm like, what is that? So Dr. George is going to show you a secret that she uses. So I'm going to share my screen, and you adults laughing at me and typing in the word, pronouncing it out. I never read the books in advance. I used to do that, but then it teaches kids that I'm perfect and I am anything. But so what I do is I will show you if you're reading a book and you don't know it, and we have technology right at our fingertips. I'm going to show you Dr. George's little secret, because Dr. George is very, very transparent. Let's see, I'm going to do the Chrome tab and I'm going to search right here so you can hear the pronunciation, and I'm going to probably laugh about how you pronounce it. Here I go. I'm not going to practice. I'm going to.
Arboretum.
Arboretum. I don't even know if I said that at some point.
Arboretum.
Arboretum. So if you don't know a word, go ahead and put it in there, and it helps. A little life lesson from Dr. George. Now we're going to move on to where are we? We are at number 8. That's nope. I even called the wrong one. We weren't even there yet. Let's back up. We're at number 6, Monument Park. Monument Park is a statue of victory tops the column of the Civil War Soldiers Monument, which marks Sheriff's Park space for memorials for other wars. Number 7, Old Fort Western. It's the New England's oldest surviving wood fort, was built in 1754 and later. Ms. Gober, thank you for being transparent. Ms. Gober said, I would have never guessed. Same. And number 8 is the Vows, and let's do that word again. Arboretum. 6 miles of trails showcase hundreds of species of trees and shrubs, including some that grew from seeds that traveled on the space shuttle. Dr. George, in case you don't know, I love space. I look in the sky every night and just go, there's so much up there that I'd like to know about. So we're going to visit that place first. So let's take a little trip there. Share my screen. And that's a little wooded area there. Yeah, I probably won't walk the trails. Dr. George is a little scared of bugs and stuff. Now it looks like it's probably got a lot of bugs over there. So I'm probably just going to enjoy the pictures. Yep, I'm not going to take that because I don't like the bugs. The other one, the Holocaust and Human Rights Museum. There's a lot all over. Human Rights Center of Maine. Let's see this right here. And this is the official website for it. And look how beautiful it is. And so they have upcoming events. And there's a classroom Jewish life before the Holocaust. And there are some summer seminars that they have. Look at that beautiful building. So beautiful. And there are some archives there. So you can go through and look through everything. Remember, if you don't have the money to travel, everything is at your fingertips. And so you can go here and watch videos, learn about it, and maybe one day you'll be able to go there. So that is that. The next thing that I want to look at is the Blaine House. Sounds interesting. All of it sounds interesting, but some of it just kind of piques my interest. So this is the Blaine House here, the website for it. It's a beautiful big house, and it's one of the most notable homes. So there is, so here it is. Look at those cups. Mm. So lots of beautiful things there, lots of history there. The Blaine House. So if you want to travel to Maine, I'll put that website there, especially the Blaine House. I'll go ahead and put that in the chat. So if you're sitting with your little ones, you can take them there. And our not last state of the night, next state, Maryland. I have been to Maryland. So Maryland is the capital of Maryland is 39,000. The state population is 5.8 million. The large cities are Baltimore, Silver Spring, Frederick. Date entered the Union, April 28, 1788. The state flower is the black-eyed Susan. The state dog, Chesapeake Bay Retriever. That's the first time I've heard of a dog being a state animal. That's pretty awesome, right? Maryland. So let me show you. It's so teeny tiny. Maryland is right there, like right. You see that blue? Right there in a little bitty corner. They call it DMV because you can go to Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia. DC, Maryland, Virginia. All like really quickly. So let's travel around there. Number 1. We are going to go to SERC, S-E-R-C. Scientists in Edgewater study the coastal ecosystems of the Chesapeake Bay at the Smithsonian Environmental Research Center. Number 2, housed in a former Episcopal church, the state's official Museum of African American Heritage is dedicated to preserving and celebrating Maryland's cultural diversity, and that is called the Banneker Douglas Museum. Number 3, located just outside the city, visitors can walk through a house from 1760 and watch archaeological excavations that reveal what life was like in colonial times. That piqued my interest. That is the historic London Town and Gardens. Number 4 is going to be the road circling the Capitol building is populated by many galleries, restaurants, and shops. That is going to be the Maryland State House. And I actually went there. And if Christy Fuselier is watching, when Melvin and I were in Maryland, she told us to go to Annapolis, the state capital, and we went. It was like stepping back in time in the most wholesome place I've ever been in my life. Like wholesome. Very beautiful. We couldn't find anywhere to park, so we drove back to DC because there were so many people out and the weather was beautiful. Now we're going to travel to the Kunta Kinte Alex Haley Memorial. And that is author Alex Haley's statue honors his work and marks a spot where many slaves, including his ancestor, arrived in Maryland. So I would watch the movie Roots, and I always thought Kunta Kinte was a character. Please don't get mad at me, my relatives, because I never really knew the history. I saw the movie, which would infuriate me, but I didn't know it was true. So we'll definitely take a look at that. Number 6, Sandy Point State Park. Since 1952, locals and visitors have enjoyed swimming, crabbing, walking, and hiking along these shores. Number 7, USNA Museum. Discover the stories of men and women who served their country and explore the naval artifacts at the U.S. Naval Academy Museum. And number 8, City Dock. Many consider the heart of historic Annapolis, where it connects with the Chesapeake Bay. And every time I hear Chesapeake Bay, I think about the biscuits, but I'm pretty sure there's way more to that than just the biscuits. So let's go ahead and look at the areas that I talked about that I would like to see. The Banneker Douglas Museum. Let's travel there. So let's go there and see what we discover when we travel there. So here it is, the website for the Banneker Douglas Museum, and it has everything. We're getting ready for the inauguration day. Is MLK is the same day. So lots of things going on that day. So we have Maryland's Year of Civil Rights. They have an open exhibit now, the era in Maryland and the parallels of today. They have Black History, 365 continues. There's a video there. There's their mission. Then they have their history. There's latest news, view upcoming events, take a virtual tour. See, I told you. Yes, I think of crabs too, but I'm allergic. So that's the last thing I think of because I want to eat them because I remember what they used to taste like. So There's my little spill on crabs. And well, I didn't say crabs, but yes, crabs and lobsters. So here's the virtual museum, and you just hold your mouse down and you just move around the museum, and you can click on things if you want to know something. You click on that little fact, it brings you in, and then it gives you a little video. Based in Maryland. So you can go to this museum. This makes me so excited when I see things like this, because not everybody gets the opportunity to travel. And I love when museums bring this, forward so that people can travel. And you can go down the hall. Look at us walking down the hall. And so here I can read a meter, why not hire me too? So how African Americans had to fight a little bit harder for things. And then this kind of reminds me of the African American Museum, the setup that's in Washington, D.C., the Smithsonian. So you can click on all of these things, and then you can hear a video. So it's almost like a guided tour without the cost. So you can travel all around. You can turn the corners, go around the corner, see all of the pictures and things that pique your interest. You can just click on it, and you have a little video, tells you a little bit about it. So awesome job. You did a great job with this museum. I would stay on this all night. I'm going to go ahead and share that link in there because I want you guys to travel and learn history as well. So the next place we're going to go is the Kunta Kinte Alex Haley Memorial, which I didn't know existed. There's a base there. And so they have this little statue here. And so they have a memorial. And so the memorial is there. And you can go through the website, read all about it. I think Melvin and I did get out. There were lots of sailboats there. So this is the city of Annapolis. This is their government page. So .gov, it tells you all about everything that's going on in the city. So you can go there and learn about the city as well. But I do, and lots of sailboats. So beautiful place to visit. Now let's go on down the road to our last state of the night. And our last state of the night is Massachusetts. Capital is Boston. I've never been there. Let me check my little note. I have not been to Boston. And so I'm going to use my little undone nail, and I'm going to, right there. I don't know if you teeny tiny, right there. And Massachusetts, the capital is Boston. It is impossible to separate Boston early history from the history of the American Revolution. After the British Parliament imposed tax on tea shipped to the colonies, the protest known as the Boston Tea Party saw crates of valuable tea dumped onto the harbor as the colonists demanded an end to taxation without representation. And I have a note here from somebody who would know, very cold. I could imagine way up north. Less than 2 years later, the siege of Boston marked the beginning of the Revolutionary War. Capital population 600 states. Oops, I went out for a second. I'm going to Google this word. Well, let me put it in, and I'm going to Google how to spell this word because I'm pretty sure I probably said it, and that's probably where that sauce comes from. Let's see. Here we go. Pronunciation. I'm going to share my screen. You guys are having a good old time laughing at me tonight. If you can't laugh at yourself, then who are you going to laugh at, right? Not other people, because that's not nice. So let's see. I bet I made it.
Worcester. Worcester.
Worcester. Why you got all those letters?
Worcester.
Now, that makes me think this better be not as easy to say.
Worcestershire. Worcestershire.
I've never pronounced it that way.
Worcestershire.
Worcestershire. I'll probably never say it that way again because, yikes. I mean, that's mine. All right. back to the facts. Pop said that was the hangout spot. Tell me, what was the hangout spot? Um, I don't even know how to word. Worser. That is that the hangout spot? Number 2 is the Fenway Park. Since 1912, generations of Boston Red Sox fans have settled down in their seats with hot dogs and scorecards to watch their team. Number 3, there is, let me find number 3 on my map. The Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum is a spatial glass corridor, joins the new wing to the Venetian Palace that houses one of the world's most extraordinary art collections. Now, I'm going to go ahead and type that in because I just piqued my little interest. So you kind of know how Dr. George piqued my little curiosity. So number 4, one of the largest and oldest municipal public libraries in the U.S. Visitors come to see the murals by prominent artists and visit the courtyard and fountain right at the Boston Public Library. Oh, he said this word right here. It's where the hangout spot is. I'll have to look. Cool things to do there. Number 5 is built in 1680 and now the oldest remaining building in downtown Boston. Paul Revere began his famous message right here. The British are coming. The British are coming, because that's what we learned in school, and I will never forget that. And number 5 is the Paul Revere House. Number 6, we're moving right along. Founded in 1634, America's oldest public park is in the center of Boston and part of the nation's history, and that is the Boston Common. Number 7, made famous during the War of 1812, the oldest commissioned warship still afloat is nicknamed Old Ironsides, and that is the USS Constitution. Number 8, visitors and locals shop and dine in this historic building, which has been in use as a marketplace and meeting hall since 1742. And number 8 is the I'm going to have to look it up, Faneuil Hall Marketplace. But before I look up the pronunciation of that, we're going to look at the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum, which I've been looking at, and it's been flashing up. And when I tell you this place is absolutely stunning, stunning. So here we go. Right here is the opening page, and it has exhibitions here, and it tells you all about it. Member Appreciation Day, Saturday Open Studio, Boston Family Days. And then when we go to visit, have tickets and timed entries, and you can join and you can give and you can explore. We can explore the museum. We can look at the collections. Look how beautiful that is. So pretty. Look at all the art. Look at all the pretty art. Gee, Whitakers. There's the art. Look at the courtyard. Oh, look at the orchids. I'm whispering as if I could wake them up. Look at the orchids. Oh, my heart's going pitter patter, pitter patter. Melvin loves flowers. So we're in January, February. So let's see what's blooming there. So this is what they have. They even have a little audio.
Hi, I'm Erica Rumbley, Director of Horticulture at the Gardner. I'm so glad you've come in from the Boston cold to enjoy our Midwinter Tropics display. It features for me the saturated colors of this installation.
So I'll put that there so that you can tour this and not have to be in the freezing cold. And then now I need to check on that pronunciation of this. Let's see. Let's see if I was even close. Faneuil.
We are looking at how to pronounce the name of this shopping center in Boston, with many stores and restaurants comprising 3 historic market buildings and a promenade. How do you go about pronouncing it? Faneuil Hall.
Still said it wrong. Faneuil. Faneuil Hall Marketplace. So, I mean, since we're there, we might as well go and look at it. Let's take a look at it. See what it looks like. It is quite grand. Look at that. You gotta immerse yourself there. Look at all the food. Pineapple coconut. Jamie Gobert, you saw her. Let me show you. Kimber said she's been there. Kimber, yep, because you were up there a while. So Kimber's been there. Welcome, Kimber, Dr. Knight. So Jamie and Kimber, Jamie Gobert, and Kimber bake. And I love their goods. So luckily, I don't have to travel to Massachusetts to get it because it's right in my backyard. And both of them deliver. So, or you can pick it up. Picking up probably is easier on them. So these are everything that you're seeing here. So let's go ahead and look at this website, and it tells you all about it. Boston starts here, and it gives you an overview. Boston's foodie paradise. And she said they have a Cheers knockoff bar. So Kimber, we're going to look at Faneuil Hall Cheers. Because why not, right? So those of you that are my age, it'll close its doors on August 30th. Oh, that was 2020. So maybe they opened it back. Kimber, I don't know when you went, but they have a knockoff Cheers there. How awesome is that? There it is. We're not promoting bars, kids, but we do like to travel. So there that is. That's pretty darn awesome. Thank you for that fun fact because it was not in here. Look at, the Paul Revere House. Paul Revere House, all right here. And so this is the house, and it's Freedom Trail, and the Paul Revere House is right here. There's several historic sites that you can look at, but right now we're looking at Paul Revere's house. We're going to go to it, and there it is. Just like I thought. She went there about 10 years ago. So that would be accurate, Kimber. It is no longer there unless they reopened it. So here we have Paul Revere's, and there's a life learning resource. There's a new education site. There's a Riding to Revolution for 250 years. There's some fun facts on there. There's the Express. There's some visitor information. There's some education, special events, all kinds of stuff. Learn about the man, Paul Revere, the ride, and what actually happened the evening of April 18, 1775. You can find out about that ride there, and I'll put that website there. So, guys, we have covered all of those states. So, with that being said, next week, and I will post that today. Please share. We'll be reading about Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, and Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana. All M's next week. Tucked in Tuesday, M style. So we'll have all the M's next week. Boys and girls, adults, I'm glad you joined. Thanks for joining. It makes my heart happy when I'm reading a book, and I don't care if it's just one or if we watch it later. I truly appreciate you learning with me, reading with me, laughing with me, hearting with me, loving all of the good things. Tucked in Tuesdays will continue. If there are some times when I can't do it, just know that there's something that is going on that I'm not able to do it at that time. So we'll start off with Michigan next time. And she said Maine. Did I skip Maine? No, I did Maine. I did Maine. Can we put Maine? Maybe she's saying, yeah, I did Maine already. So Maine was covered tonight. So we got Maine. So maybe that's not what you're saying, but I think that's what you're saying. So I'm excited about the next state, all because they're M's, and I'm going to get tongue-tied, but it's going to be a great time. Keep traveling. It's cold right now. Remember, you can travel right here at your fingertips. Right, technology is all you need to travel the world, and it's a lot cheaper. So join me next Tuesday. Let me check next Tuesday before I tell you that. Let me check my little calendar to see where next Tuesday will have me. Before I just tell you to join me. And on the phone, I'll be here, fair, square, and aware, right here on Tucked In Tuesdays. Remember, guys, if nobody else tells you, oh, you missed the main spot. So just back up a little bit, Kimber. We talked about Maine. I learned how to pronounce some things. So you'll go back. It's a good laugh, Kimber. So boys and girls, adults, if nobody else tells you, Dr. George loves you. Have a great night on purpose. Be kind. I'm going to go live in a little bit on my page, but this is more for adults because I just need to talk. So guys, remember, if nobody else loves you, of course, what I just said, Dr. George loves you. Good night, guys. Good night.